is this? What is this? No, seriously, what is this? Is it a pet or something? And there's a new currency? Oh no, I'm back in the building again! I, in all of my infinite wisdom, have decided to give Star Rail a second chance after quitting a year ago. Okay, that's a lie. It hasn't been a year. I quit at the beginning of version 3.1, but 1 year later has a nice ring to it, don't you think? Why did I come back? I don't know. I was bored, I guess. Nah, but actually it's due to a combination of a couple of things. Version 4 is releasing in a couple of months, so I figured if I came back now, I would have time to slowly catch up and be prepared for the new planet, assuming I stuck around. Also, I had heard that the game has gotten better. Supposedly, they added a skip button to the main story. I'm gonna come! Added new endgame content. Supposedly, the story is incredible, so I figured why not give the game a second chance. I don't remember if I said this in my I Quit Star Rail video, but I was never against coming back. I never hated Star Rail. The only reason I left is due to a combination of burnout and the game getting worse in key aspects, in my opinion. With the release of Amphorius, I realized that there were more things about Star Rail that I didn't like than there were things that I did like. I plan on making a couple of videos covering my return. This video will specifically cover the returning player experience. If you want to see the other videos, subscribe to the channel so you'll know when those videos release. Alrighty then, enough of that, let's get on with the show. Oh my god, there are so many notifications! These red dots will haunt my every nightmare. What the fuck is this? I thought the collab event ended already. Why is this still here? Wasn't the collab like 2 months ago or something like that? Turns out the banner has no set end date. It just vaguely says it will be available for a prolonged amount of time, which is kind of weird, to be honest. Usually collabs don't work like this. Collabs only last for one version and then they disappear forever, or maybe get a rerun in the future. So yeah, this is really interesting. I decided to summon for Saber and her weapon. The last banner I summoned on was Sunday's release banner in version 2.8 or 2.7, whatever the number was, I don't know, doesn't really matter. It took me 90 summons to win the 50-50 and get Saber, and 80 summons to win the 75-25 twice, a 2-for-1 deal. Bro, this has literally never happened before. I'm telling you, bro, the game knew that this was their last chance to sink their greedy, money-hungry little claws deep inside of my brain. He was like, hey, this dude's coming back and he's making a YouTube video. Give him 2 copies of Saber weapon in one multi. Granted, E1 Saber would have been better, but hey, I won't look a gift horse in the mouth. Or however that saying goes. Is that right? That doesn't sound right. There are a couple of reasons I summoned for Saber. First, I like Saber. I've seen the various Fate anime and played Grand Order before, so safe to say I am a fan. But the main reason is because my account is straight garbage right now. My only invested 5-star DPS currently are Kafka, belonging to the trash dot archetype, Acheron, who has been power crept into oblivion, and Firefly, belonging to the long since abandoned Super Break archetype. I tried clearing content with these characters but couldn't. My damage was so low, and even when I could clear content, it simply was not a fun experience. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I remember trying to clear content back in version 3.0 when Amphorius released with my Kafka and my Firefly and struggling. Not only with the various endgame content, but even the story mode. Like, those enemies were not dot friendly. And the problem has only gotten worse. I tried using Kafka in the current content. Nope, that just was not gonna happen. Since I needed damage, I decided to summon for Saber. Luckily, I had a decent build for Sunday and Ting Yun. Sadly, I don't have Ho Ho, but Gallagher, rugged beefsteak that he is, gets the job done just fine. Also, we're getting a free Don Hung variant in like a week or two, something like that. And apparently he's a good sustain unit, so I guess he's gonna replace my Gallagher, so that's fun. And before you ask, why not Evernight? Simple, I don't have any of the Remembrance characters. Castoris, Hyacinth, Aglia, whoever else, I don't remember who the other characters are. Because of that, Evernight is basically worthless to me. Same goes for the upcoming Cyrene, who I will skip because she is tailor-made for version 3 characters specifically. Outside of a Remembrance team, these characters provide little to no value. I plan on making a separate video talking about Remembrance and its many faults in a future video, so subscribe and keep an eye out if that interests you. I'll say this though, if you are a returning player like me, Remembrance is completely worthless because we know that in version 4.0, Elation will become a new class. Similar to how Super Break was immensely powerful in version 2 and was then taken to a random alleyway and shot in version 3, Remembrance will most likely also be abandoned. And so it makes more sense for me, a returning player, to save up resources now and invest into Elation instead. 5-star Sample, my glorious king, you will be mine! Apparently there's like a lot of rumors that Sample's gonna get a 5-star, and supposedly he's an emanator of Elation, which makes a lot of sense because let's be honest, this dude literally broke the 4th wall back during the launch of the game. Like, does anybody remember that? When like at the end of the Belobog story, he literally looks directly into the camera and starts talking to us? I remember that cutscene, bro. It was crazy. I was not expecting this silly little goober to randomly just talk to us directly. It was crazy. Sadly, because of power creep, I was forced to summon for a new DPS. Luckily, Saber was an option, and sadly, because of RNG, I literally had to use every single summon I had saved up. The 90 summons to get Saber and the 80 summons to get her weapon, that cost me everything. I literally had no summon currency left after I was done summoning for Saber. I just barely got her. It was crazy. So sadly, I'm basically starting from scratch. So yeah, I have to grind out a lot of things in order to be ready for the eventual Elation release. But honestly, thank God Saber's banner is still around, because if I had a summon for Evernight as my new DPS, bro, I was never gonna clear anything. Although Saber isn't the most powerful DPS in the game, she is good. A nice, reliable, straightforward, big PP damage character, and that's exactly what I need right now. Also, can I just say, the developers did a wonderful job with her. Kinda weird that she has a brand new design rather than her original design, but it was made by the original Fate artist, so who am I to judge? Giving her the invisible Windblade was a nice touch, and her ultimate is glorious! Excalibur! Using Saber to grind out some resources, play the new roguelike mode, and progress the story a little bit made me realize just how much the power creep hurt my enjoyment of this game. I love Kafka. She is still my favorite character, but playing her is torture. I did some research, and apparently Hyacinth, or however you pronounce it, the so-called Dot Savior, isn't even that good. That is still bad for all intents and purposes. Sure, Hyacinth makes it playable in most content, but it still struggles. At this point, it's safe to say Dot will never be saved, because in order to truly save it, they need to focus on it, meaning release a couple of modern units, a new main DPS, a new sub DPS, a new support, potentially a new healer or a new tank or whatever. They can't just release one new Dot character more than a year later and expect to save the archetype. Hyacinth might be a decent unit in and of herself, but sadly the power creep problem has gone so far that she alone cannot save Dot. They needed to release multiple Dot characters. At the bare minimum, one more, which sucks because I quite enjoyed the archetype, not just in this game but in general. Personally, I'm a fan of the damage over time archetype in a lot of video games. I just think it's a lot of fun, which is part of the reason why I invested so heavily into my Kafka in the first place, besides just liking her as a character. Acheron is cool, but I don't have Jiao Shou, or however you pronounce it, or Cypher, nor do I have Fugue for my Firefly. Currently, there's a rumor that Constance will release in version 2.8 and will be a Super Break support. I love her design, but realistically, she's just gonna be another Hycilin situation. She'll make Super Break decent if you already have a highly invested team, which I do not. But if you don't have a highly invested team, realistically, she's not gonna save the archetype. In order to truly do that, they would need to release, at the bare minimum, 2 new Super Break characters. Speaking of characters, the building process was so smooth. The game has auto clear now? Are you shitting me? I needed a lot of resources to build my saber, but I didn't have to sit here for hours grinding out these mind-numbing resource stages. All I had to do was press a button and the resources magically appeared before me. Except for relics. I still had to manually do those. Blessed be Lord Orange Jesus, for he has smiled upon me on this day. Apparently, they added a re-roll system. It's not great, but hey, it's better than nothing. This yellow dice will let you re-roll the upgrade distribution of any max level relic, meaning sadly you can't get new substats. It's not a perfect system because it's still random, but hey, it's better than nothing. I'm not sure how rare this material is, but this is mihoyo we're talking about, so it's probably impossible to get. Star Rail does a great job of making the returning experience doable. Level up materials and relic stages have double drop rates for a short period of time, which on top of the auto farm makes catching up your characters a smooth process. Like I said, normally I would be forced to sit here for hours grinding out all of the various materials Saber would have needed, but because of the returning experience, the returning benefits, that process was so much faster. So I was basically immediately able to experience what this game has to offer. Also, you get a free 4-star weapon of your choice, which is nice. I don't know how good these weapons are, but you know, it's something I guess. The only other things of note I did was play the new roguelike mode and progress the main story a little bit. I haven't really done anything super interesting in the story yet, so I'm not really going to talk about that. I'm currently doing the version 3.2 story, I think, because they mentioned Anaxa, and I know Anaxa released in version 3.2, so I think that's where I am. As for the roguelike mode, I finished the tutorial stages and did one playthrough of an actual level. I think the night and day mechanic and corresponding upgrades that take effect at specific times is interesting. The daytime is nothing special, but nighttime increases damage done and received to enemies and your characters. Try to survive the enemy's onslaught and slaughter them before they get the chance. Beyond that, I haven't played the mode enough to give a more in-depth critique of the mode. Again, I think it sounds interesting, but I'm not really sure if it's going to be fun in the long run. We're just going to have to wait and see. And for now, that's all I want to talk about. As I mentioned earlier, I plan on making a dedicated video about the Remembrance class, as well as some other videos. I'll do something with the story eventually, and maybe I'll talk about like events or something. I don't know. If that at all interests you, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you'll know when those videos go live. If you liked the video, make sure to leave a like or a dislike if you didn't. If you want to more directly support me, click the join button to become a channel member. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.